Israel and Hamas reach an agreement on first phase. I'm curious about how many phases there are and what they are, but the first phase of a plan to stop fighting, release hostages and prisoners. So this means Israel's prisoner swapping as well. And so this is nuts. Myron, you're a Middle East guy.
Well, I mean, I don't really trust the Israelis ever. Whenever they try to strike these deals, they were supposed to be a deal just like this, a 3-part deal in the beginning of the year, and they kind of backed after the first one after they got I think they did an exchange for 33 hostages or something.
How long between when it was announced to when they pulled out?
It took place before Trump even got sworn in on the 20th, and then they ended it by early March.
So the plan was in effect before Trump was even in office. Does it?
Yeah, he negotiated it, and then it went into effect before he came in. And by the time he was sworn in, it was already kind of in effect. And then it kind of fell out the wayside by March because there was supposed to be a second phase, which would eventually lead to a permanent ceasefire. But the Israelis never want a permanent ceasefire. So
is the idea that Trump is in office from the get-go for this one going to affect it possibly?
I think because what I think is, this is me speculating here. Because Biden had tried to strike a very similar deal on his way out, and he wasn't able to get it. I think what Trump was able to do is hey, look, Bibi, don't keep doing what you're doing. Wait until I come in so I can get credit for this. Because obviously he campaigned on I'm the president of peace, right? I'm going to end the wars.
Yeah.
So this was a big W for him to come in, basically already getting a ceasefire going and getting the aid back into Gaza, doing a hostage exchange.
Yo, it's Perplexity AI's Comet browser. This is really interesting. Check this out. Let me ask you guys something. How much time do you spend every day on a web browser? How much time do you spend clicking around online, searching, scrolling, typing, endless tabs? It's a lot, right? Well, there's a new AI web browser from Perplexity called Comet that is completely changing the way you're able to interact with your browser. Comet feels like having a personal assistant living in your web browser that can actually do things for you across the internet, literally do things, not just give answers. You can ask Comet to handle tasks for you, and it literally clicks, types, searches, and scrolls just like you would to get things done for you. That's crazy. In the background while you go about your day. Go to perplexity.ai/Comet. Comet can navigate around the web like a human would, clicking, typing, searching, scrolling, getting what you need done so you can do more. Some of the things it can do, it can order food from DoorDash or Domino's. It can book personalized restaurant reservations. It can buy stuff on Amazon. Wow, movie tickets, book flights, prep you for your day, send messages and emails, schedule things, search, respond, and analyze. It can pull up videos, tabs, or other searches you're looking for. That's crazy. Download Perplexity's new AI web browser Comet by heading to pplx.ai/Timcast and let your browser do the work for you. Plus, right now, when you download Comet, you get a month of Rumble Premium for free. Yo, check this out.
Everyone's all happy for about 2 months, and then early March hits, and then they stop. They pretty much cut the deal there. The Israelis cut the deal there.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. It's frustrating. It does seem like the Israelis are buying time so that they can cause as much collateral damage as possible.
Yes.
And kill as many people as possible. They know they can't keep it up forever, technically, though. Kind of seems like they might.
Yeah, I think
seems like they might.
I think the goal is because they've destroyed 90+% of the Gaza Strip, and at this point, it's really about making it inhabitable so that they can say, "Oh, you know what? It kind of sucks here. We can't really rebuild anything for you guys. You should probably just go to Egypt or Libya or Lebanon or any of these other countries or Jordan."
I thought Trump was going to build a mall there, anyways.
Yeah,
did he say something
dude,
about
that is
building a
the
mall
plan.
there?
Yeah, he wanted to build condos, beautiful beachfront property, the whole deal. I'm going to read the tweet, or some of the tweet Trump tweeted out. So he said, "I'm very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. This means that all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line as the first steps towards a strong, durable, and everlasting peace." Yeah. All parties will be treated fairly. I'm just going to read the rest of it, actually. He says, "This is a great day for Arab and Muslim world, Israel, all surrounding nations, and the United States. Big ups to us, I guess. We want to thank the mediators from Qatar, even though Israel blew a bunch of them up recently. Egypt, even though they're useless and with Israel. And Turkey, who is also useless and evil." I don't know. All these people are not doing great. Erdogan or how do you say his name? Erdogan. That guy's not very good. What's he doing with the Kurds up there in Turkey?
He just steals elections pretty much.
Just
makes
stealing
false
elections.
promises.
Is he not like doing a little bit of like a little murdering, a little killing?
Oh,
is he
well,
blowing people up?
he's doing
They're
all
fighting the
kinds of
YPG. What's that Kurdish group up there? We don't have to talk about all this, but anyway, so. Donald Trump is pumped. Everyone in the Middle East is pumped. There's no good actors in the Middle East. It's like Armenia, and that's it.
Yeah, it's
Is Armenia that's Europe, right?
Yeah, well,
What do we count that? The Balkans?
yeah.
All right.
With this whole situation here, again, Trump's making a push for the Nobel Peace Prize, right? I think we all know that. He's really trying to get it, right, to add to his accolades. So. This is good, I guess, to a degree. They wrote up a whole 20-point plan on, what they're going to do here. But one of the big hangups here, right, is they want Hamas to completely disarm. I don't know if that's going to happen. They want complete demilitarization and disarmament from them. And obviously they want the hostages within 72 hours. I'm assuming since they signed this, now the clock starts with the 72 hours.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. So... we'll see what happens. And I know one of the biggest hangups the two biggest hangups on this deal was Israel pulling back to a decided upon line because they wanted them to originally they wanted to withdraw completely from the Gaza Strip. They don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was like them permanently disarming. I noticed he did not put anything there about disarming unless I'm missing it. So that might still be up in the air because I know that was a point of contention because right now they're negotiating in Egypt.
Yeah.
Not even in Qatar because Israel blew that up.
Complete disarmament's not even an option. That would be like asking America or Iraq to disarm. Like we asked Iraq to disarm. Oh, sorry, we have more small arms circulating in this country than any other country in the Middle East.
Almost impossible.
So like Iraq just had millions of small arms floating around. Like, of course, they're just going to resist without even having to import weapons and stuff. Gaza's a similar situation.
And who dictates what's disarmed, right? Like the Israelis can always say, oh, well, you guys still have this. You guys are still armed in this way. So it's like it's open to interpretation. And this is the things with these peace deals is like they're always pretty vague and nebulous, especially when it comes to our commitments on the West versus their commitments are very black and white. You need to do this. But like ours are like, yeah, we're going to give you a path to self-determination. But are we really? Like, so we'll see what happens.
It's also interesting to be like, you guys have to disarm your rockets that don't work. Get rid of them.
Yeah, you have to get rid of them.
Meanwhile, we're going to pull back, create a new front line, absorb more territory. It just feels like they're going to absorb a little bit more, and then we wait 10 years till they get that they like convince them to attack them again, and then they're going to absorb a little.
Yeah, it's never ending, right?
It's the
it never feels like nobody actually buys into peace as an idea anymore because they know that it's just cyclical anyways. It's going to come back, and even whether it's when he leaves office, whether it's like what happened with the first phase of the plan where they say they're going to do something and then they don't. And I'm not even specifying any side. No American, even those who don't really think or care on foreign policy, even thinks of it anymore as a game that you can win. It's just something that's recycled and starts over and over again whenever either a new administration comes or there's just new war to break out somewhere else.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, I used to pay more attention to politics in the Middle East. I used to be very concerned about what's happening in Yemen. I've looked into some of this, but when it came to the Israel-Palestine issue, I just never got particularly educated on it. My position has generally just been the America First position is that this isn't our fight. I don't think the United States needs to have any involvement.
Yeah.
And for most, like, it's a losing issue for Trump on something like this because he's putting them in a place to deny him, looking good because they can go back on what they say, which hurts him because, him being a presence of power in the Middle East goes to benefit his ego and goes to benefit the way he's viewed by other countries. But if somebody breaks the deal, it looks bad for him. Americans already, a vast majority of the people that voted for him that aren't, old school Republicans don't want us in the Middle East anyways. So it feels like it's actually like if it's not about the Nobel Peace Prize, which could be purely for ego purposes, it's not beneficial to Americans at all when there's plenty of issues going on at home.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. And not only that, but like the Israelis don't really have an incentive to exercise any type of diplomacy because no matter what, we're going to back them. So they know, okay, we can, lie here. Because after Trump made this announcement originally, Benjamin Netanyahu does an address in Hebrew. And so he's in a very difficult position, right? Because on his side, he's got a criminal case that he's got to deal with, right? And then on top of that, he has a far-right party that supports and backs him that wants these guys completely out. So he's got to play the delicate line where he tells the U.S., like, yeah, we want to work towards some type of ending the war and getting our hostages back. And at the same time, these guys on the far right that are his constituents want him to continue the war. So as soon as he made this agreement with Trump, he goes and does an address in Hebrew and kind of just says, yeah, we're not really going to do diplomacy. We're kind of feigning diplomacy like we always have. Don't worry, we're not going to completely pull out the Gaza Strip. We're going to make sure that they disarm. We're going to get our hostages back. And the reality is Hamas knows that their only leverage is the hostages. So, and Benjamin Netanyahu knows this too, and he had many opportunities to get the hostages back. I've talked about this before.
Right.
He could have got the hostages back October 10th, 2023, but he chose not to do so because he wanted to wage a war, and it would keep him out of this corruption trial that he's dealing with. So he's got multiple things he's balancing where he's trying to stay in power, keep his constituents happy, at the same time continue to get aid from the United States, so say what he needs to say, while also trying to balance getting U.S. support at the same time, where now they're running a whole Hasbara thing where they're getting these influencers paying them money to kind of push the narrative. And if you notice, he's starting to do interviews now. He just did an interview with Ben Shapiro a couple of days ago. He did an interview with Tatum. He's doing the rounds in America because he understands that U.S. support is starting to wane.
Especially amongst younger generations.
Yeah,
the ones who are politically
left, right,
and
everyone's
that's the thing,
out.
You guys are very clearly very interested in what's going on in the Middle East. I think I'm probably more representative of the average person who's politically aware domestically, but otherwise just looks at most stuff overseas as weighing on our economy and weighing on our relations with the rest of the world. I understand that a lot of it has to do with trade routes and how we.
I think we've wasted damn near 30, 40 years on the Middle East when we should have been focusing on China all this time. I really do think that the biggest threat right now for us to maintain the global hegemony is China and their allies, and they're expanding at a rapid rate. And we've just been wasting time in the Middle East, for decades.
Dude, if I was let China screw us repeatedly, repeatedly.
Yeah.
I just want to mention something really quickly here. It's important to keep in mind that even though most young people are changing their position on this or just aren't on the same page as like the Republican and Democratic parties actually traditionally have been, we were talking about this the other night. When it came to the Vietnam War, right, leftists were against it, and conservatives who didn't want America to be involved in overseas wars were against it, but for different reasons. Like, the left was against it because they liked communists and they liked communism. So similarly, you can acknowledge, like, America shouldn't be involved in this and still realize that, like, left-wing activists are not at all your ally in any of this, because the reason they're against it is because they see this as, like, white colonization. That's literally the framework that they have for understanding the issue.
Like, Jane Fonda went to North Korea and sat in the anti-aircraft guns and did, like, a press tour for them during the war.
And then
no treason charges like that. It's insane. We talk about how much the left gets away with today. The fact that so many, dude, I can't.
She was the only in shape woman back then. She was so hot, we had to let her do it.
And she recently restarted the Committee on the First Amendment because of all of Jimmy Kimmel getting taken off TV for 2 days. So you get Hollywood leftists who have cheered on censorship for everybody. Not even 4 or 5 days after it was revealed that Google and YouTube were censoring people during the Biden administration, and they're out here like, freedom of speech.
Jimmy Kimmel,
they're trampling us.
Jimmy Kimmel is the version of when a cop does a bad shoot and just shoots a guy and then gets paid vacation.
Yeah.
Like, he messed up and then he just got 2 days off work. Like, that's not a punishment.
Yeah, it barely got censored at all. And I think Disney did that more as like a, middle finger to the White House and stuff versus like, and a lot of people canceled their Hulus and complained,
I mean, it was also, the fact that they were trying to shoot up ABC affiliates and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
This is what I'm saying. They do violence and they get their way.
Yeah.
All the time. They don't get prosecuted. They don't get charged.
I'm like Bob Iger's like, we're not the government. We can negotiate with terrorists.
It's like, what?
True, dude.
Honestly, not to get away from the Middle East too much, but let's bring it back. If I was a president, I think we can solve all of our problems by making a foreign policy. We don't fight dudes wearing pajamas and sandals. That's our main rule. If you fight in pajamas and sandals, we're out. We don't want it. This is not a good fight. There's nothing to gain.
They're just going to wait you out anyway.
Yeah,
You're
brother,
not going to win.
You are fighting in pajamas. You have nothing I want.
Yeah.
When I beat
and they got nothing to lose.
Right, dude. When I beat you, what am I going to take? You're not electricity?
Yeah.
Get out of here. What am I doing in this place?
Yeah, it makes zero sense why I spend so much time there.
From Vietnam to now, we have to stop fighting people wearing pajamas, bro. Next people we fight are wearing uniforms or I'm out.
could even you could even get the leftists on your side. Like, imagine the universal health care we could have if we just stopped spending trillions of dollars overseas.
Bro,
No, but honestly, I gotta.
We could
here's the
ship
thing.
that fat lady out of the
healthcare in
house in the
Israel.
train.
I want to make this point. I am as much against the foreign wars as anybody, but the stuff that they're proposing with this healthcare stuff, people don't realize this. We do spend more on healthcare than the military every year.
Yeah.
And the left is convinced us like we don't spend enough on welfare. We spend a lot on welfare, dude.
There's only one organization that spends more on healthcare in the United States, and that's the Catholic Church, big dog.
Oh yeah, but the Catholic Church actually helps people.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.